Irigaray's work Sexes and Genealogies represents a critical inquiry into the cultural, historical, and philosophical absence of a distinct and autonomous feminine genealogy. Irigaray continues her critique of phallocentrism, challenging the ways Western thought and culture have systematically privileged male subjectivity while marginalizing or erasing female agency. This collection of essays emphasizes the necessity of creating a space for women to articulate their own identities, histories, and lineages distinct from the frameworks imposed by patriarchal systems. Irigaray argues that women have been identified primarily in relation to men, often as mothers, daughters, or wives, rather than as individuals with their own genealogical and cultural legacies. In this context, genealogy is not merely a biological or familial concept, but a symbolic and cultural construct that enables individuals to locate themselves within a broader narrative of history and identity. The absence of a feminine genealogy in Western culture has profound implications for how women understand themselves and their place in the world. Sexual difference is not simply a biological or anatomical distinction, but a fundamental ontological and symbolic category that shapes human existence. She critiques the phallocentric logic that has rendered the masculine as the universal norm, relegating the feminine to the realm of the other or the excluded. Recognizing and valuing sexual difference is essential for creating a more just and equitable society. This involves not only acknowledging the specificity of female experience, but also reimagining the cultural and symbolic structures that have marginalized women. Irigaray highlights the role of language and representation in perpetuating the erasure of feminine genealogies. He argues that language, as it is traditionally conceived and practiced, is deeply embedded within patriarchal ideologies that exclude or distort female voices. For example, the symbolic term for the realm of language and culture is organized around the figure of the phallus, which serves as the central organizing principle of meaning and subjectivity. Irigaray critiques this framework for its inability to accommodate the feminine as an independent subject, calling for a re-articulation of language and representation that can express the plurality and fluidity of female experience. Irigaray also examines the implications of this erasure for women's relationships with their mothers and other women. She argues that patriarchal culture has systematically undermined the bonds between women, particularly the mother-daughter relationship, by positioning women in competition with one another or defining them solely in relation to men. This dynamic, she contends, has made it difficult to women to develop a sense of solidarity and shared identity. To counter this, Irigaray for the creation of a feminine genealogy that can provide women with a sense of continuity, history, and belonging. The idea of maternal genealogy is central to Irigaray's vision of a transformed symbolic order. She emphasizes the importance of reclaiming the maternal as a site of creativity, connection, and identity, challenging the patriarchal tendency to reduce motherhood to biological reproduction or self-sacrifice. By reimagining the maternal in symbolic and cultural terms, she seeks to restore the dignity and significance of women's contributions to culture and society. This involves not only revisiting myths, histories, and philosophies that have marginalized the feminine, but also creating new narratives and representations that celebrate women's agency